Okay, once again, hello everyone. Good evening to you, and thank you so much for having us. Ilana and I work hand in hand together at World Headquarters. We both are in the same club at World Headquarters. Ilana will tell you later she's a dual club member, but we're so happy to be here together. And we love how enthusiastic your district is to learn about how you can help Toastmasters grow and how you can benefit from World Headquarters. We probably do things a little bit different than you as we're under the World Headquarters umbrella. From the executive board of directors to the executive team at World Headquarters to the marketing and digital team. We all work together to try and create the best materials we can to influence the world of Toastmasters and possible Toastmasters. A few things to start off is Toastmasters social media. I know you guys have it. I've looked around on your channels. There's a couple things I think everybody can improve on across the globe, including us. And I think there's so many things we do great. One of the biggest things that I've encountered my first 3 years at World Headquarters is the challenges of losing and gaining controls when a new admin comes in, no matter if that's going to be the PRM of the district or somebody else. So I want to say the biggest advice to kick this off is when you have social media, make sure you have a business plan. That way you don't lose your followers, you don't have to start over, and you understand what was there in the past, in the present, and how to build your future. So make sure you get those admin controls, the passwords, and any information you need. I've been contacted over the years. Kristi, can you reset my Facebook password? Kristi, can you reset our login for our website? We're Toastmasters, we're not Facebook, we're not your domain. So I will do everything I can to help you, but we don't have the controls to reset your Facebook password. I also want you guys to understand the difference between a page and a group. I love your guys' Instagram. It's so great. I love how you guys are posting all your webinar ads on there. On Facebook, I did see a lot of different public groups, but I really want to focus on the business page as well. Build that page so people across the world can see what you guys do. You can kind of piggyback off what your Instagram pages look like. Another piece of advice is always do a quick audit of those social media pages to confirm that anybody who had control of them in the past has all of your accurate information, because that's the basic tips of starting to market yourself. Make sure you are promoting yourself in the correct way. And as I tell everybody, which Ilana loves, is always just stay on brand. And if you ever have questions about brand, I know you guys know how to get a hold of us. Next slide, please. Social media. You guys are already on it. As I said, it's great. But what I want you guys to focus on is what channels work best for your demographics, for your targeted markets. At World Headquarters, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn are our strongest platforms. We still use Twitter, but that's not the channel that we love the most. So I want you guys to figure out what works best for you. Are you gaining this audience through Facebook, through Instagram, through LinkedIn? If you guys have TickTock or Snapchat, is that something that's growing? Is that what's getting prospects to call you and look for a club? Figure out what works best for you. As you know, we're Toastmasters. We like to talk. So that 280 character limit in Twitter, sometimes it's a struggle for us. So that's why we like Facebook, YouTube, so we can definitely talk, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Just continue to post, use hashtags, and really get what works best for you. Next slide, please. How to engage with a social audience. This is a huge part of marketing, especially if you're trying to talk to prospects, leads, or prospective members. To start, sometimes when you post, even if it's just an ad to a webinar like this, you can include in the copy of that post, what do you want to learn from digital marketing? What do you want to know about brand? That way, the members who are following you on these social channels can talk with you and you can engage in a conversation with them. And you get to learn what your followers want from you and you can kind of help guide them. Use captivating images. First of all, major kudos to you. You guys are doing so great with your graphics. I love them. What you guys put together for this webinar looked fantastic. And the colors, I think they were on brand point. Hopefully Ilana doesn't correct me later. But again, like I said, you almost the end of 2020 somehow, and videos are key now. If you have time just to take your phone or something and record a video of what you guys are doing in your district, what you're doing in your clubs, even if it's a recording of a Zoom meeting, that can get people so excited to know that, don't worry, your district is still going strong and you're going to do it no matter what. Following that is show followers an inside look at your district. What are you guys doing? Are you visiting clubs across your district? How many of these webinars are you having? Really get them to know that you are a district who is so passionate about Toastmasters, and you're continuing to grow by putting in the work and by putting in the effort. Just some other tips, be persistent, which you are. Make time to post, make time to come up with a marketing plan. Even if you only have three minutes a day, find a way to fit that in. If it's in your morning, your lunch break, or your evening, you can do it, and you'll see that the persistence pays off. Keep your posts simple and timely. And like I said earlier, really get to know your audience. I think your audience is going to have the dedicated Toastmasters, possible Toastmasters who didn't renew their membership but still want to follow, if maybe you're thinking about coming back, and other members who just want to stay connected. Next slide, please. Social media dues. To me, this is common sense because I'm in it 8 hours a day, 45 hours a week, 50 hours a week sometimes, but it's just always a good reminder of what to do and what not to do. As mentioned earlier, prompt discussion for that maximum engagement. Ask questions, reply to members, no matter if it's on Messenger, if it's a comment on a public post, or even just an email here and there. Just try and continue to engage with them. That's answering questions and responding to their feedback. Their social media pages, or even some articles that mention Toastmasters, public speaking, the World Championship of Public Speaking. Be sure and connect. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I just got internet's unstable. Post photos. Keep an eye on what's trending. Right now, something that I'd say is unfortunately trending is the constant online meetings, no matter if this is in Toastmasters or outside of Toastmasters. Because of the global pandemic of COVID-19, people are meeting online across the globe. You have a chance now to meet with people in Australia, people in Spain, people in the United States. Promote how this is trending, and your district is no longer always just for your district. You can reach the world. You guys already, I've seen, used links to shorten your URLs, which is fantastic. It made connecting to this Zoom call very easy. Always follow character limits. That helps create retweets and other people to post your information. Understanding hashtags. I already see you guys use hashtags, especially on your Instagram. They're so strong, and they really help people who follow hashtags who might not be a Toastmaster find you guys outside. Proofread before posting, always a help. I know I've made mistakes. I've had to go back and edit them. It happens, but always have that second pair of eyes just to make sure that you have everything accurate. Post videos and post real content, like I mentioned before. This is 2020. No one has experienced a year like this, in my opinion. So talk about it. Talk about how COVID-19 has maybe impacted your club. Talk about how strong you guys are going to come out of it and how connecting globally will work for you. Next slide, please. The strategist part of digital marketing is coming up with campaigns. This is what we do a lot of at World Marketing. We talk, we brainstorm, we come up with scopes, and we develop a marketing plan. It might be something simple and it might be something huge, but what is going to work best for your district? Do you guys have marketing funds set aside where you can create some kind of digital marketing ad? What channel is going to work best for you? Do you see your best results on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn? Really figure out if you have that budget and how you can expand it the best. And what do clubs have available? Do clubs have a budget that they might be willing to go ahead and share with the district? Or do they want to go ahead and target their own club in their own market? So really understand what works for your district in the budget scheme. Who is your target audience? Demographics, age, gender, location. You can also do jobs, you can do age, you can really look at what works best. Who are you guys trying to get? Is your club mostly ages 25 through 55? Maybe that's the age you should target. Is everybody in the bigger cities, or are they on the outskirts of the cities? Figure out where you want to target and who you can get who might not already be a member. What is your messaging? This is something we've tried at World Headquarters over the last couple of years. We've tried multiple different messaging, from pretty messaging, colorful. We've tried animals, which, yes, is off-brand. We've also tried just the direct messaging of, do you want to learn to be a better public speaker? Are you looking to improve your leadership skills? Sit together as a team, which I know you guys have such a strong leadership team, and figure out what you want to market to possible Toastmasters and other Toastmasters. Are you guys really focusing on leadership this term, or is it public speaking, leadership, and the added education of what Toastmasters? And finally, how do you want to market this? Again, is this going to be paper flyers? Is it going to be digital flyers? Is it going to be an email campaign? Is it going to be a Facebook campaign, an Instagram campaign? And it goes back to that first question, is do you guys have funds? But don't give up, keep coming. In my opinion, no idea is a bad idea, as long as you're trying to think about marketing and getting getting Toastmasters out there into the world. Next slide, please. You guys will have access to this, I hope, but just some social media resources that I love. I use Bitly here at World Headquarters, which shorten the URL. Obviously, our brand portal, which we're going to continue to grow that over time to hopefully have more digital elements for you guys. Right now, we have a couple different items for Facebook and LinkedIn, such as event covers that you can go ahead and customize to mention your own district or your club name. I use Social Media Today, which focuses on global trending items in social media. You can understand what's trending and maybe how you can go and hop on that trend and get everything posted out there. Hashtags, as I mentioned, you guys use them, but how they work. I like to use bashhashtags.com if I'm going to post something, just say I'm public speaking, but I want to learn what other hashtags can I use other than hashtag public speaking, hashtag speaker, hashtag Toastmasters. If you go to this website and you type in public speaking, it'll come up with at least 10 to 20 hashtags that are relevant to that term, and it'll help you fill your copy with those hashtags. So excited to answer questions later. That's just the daily debrief of what I've got going on. Can't wait to hear what Ilana says. And again, thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys during the Q&A.
Thank you, Kristi. I always like your energy, and I always learn, even though I've seen this content before, I always learn a few things. Okay, so if you can share my slides as well, I'll get started, and then we can do some questions, because I know you always have lots of questions at the end. First of all, thank you so much for having us. This is a pleasure for us to do this. It's one of my favorite parts of the job. So I always say, tell everyone else, but don't tell everyone else, because if every district and every club wants us to participate, that's all we do with our time. This is my favorite thing to do because, of course, we are here at headquarters right now working from home, but we are here to serve you. The only reason why headquarters exists is to serve you. But it can be a little distanced from the clubs and the districts, because we're here in Denver and we're talking with many teams and departments inside this one building, always with the goal to improve our service and our products for you. But we're not directly talking to you sometimes, right? I do get the emails and everything, but when I get to see you and participate in your events and understand what are the difficulties, the challenges, and the things that are working for you, this is my favorite thing to do. It makes the job come full circle, and I love it. So thank you for having us. This is very exciting. I've seen a couple of people here who have seen me talk about this branding 101 before. So this is not going to be news to you, but a lot of people, I believe, are here for the first time. I do this basic thing about branding and talk a little bit about our resources and why we need to do the things that we do. And then we can open to questions at the end. And as it was mentioned on my introduction, I am a Toastmaster. I belong to 2 clubs. I'm an officer of one. I joined our area and division contest this year because I wanted to have the experience. I want to know everything that you guys are going through in order to serve you better. So I joined the club just to see how it was. And I really didn't want to like it because I didn't want to invest my time in doing this. I started working at Toastmasters and I figured I'll watch a few videos and I learned a little bit about it. And I fell in love with the club. I guess it happens with pretty much everyone, right? I fell in love with it and I quickly offered to become their VPPR when time came. And I'm on my second term now. I never thought I'd be one of those people who belong to two clubs, but here I am. So putting together the knowledge of being a member, of being an officer, and being a branding specialist from headquarters, I would like to share a few things with you. And as Kristi have said, we see some things from districts that blow our minds away. And it's so well done, and it's so phenomenal, it's so well thought out. And sometimes we can't even approve those. And it's not about who does it better or if you have all the knowledge or everything. It is about what can be approved sometimes, because we do have to think about our trademarks and our copyrights and our board and how to be a nonprofit in this world. So not everything can be approved. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But the first thing I want to do when I talk about branding is to start with the why. I want to invite all of you, and some of you have been invited more than once, to join me in this mission. I want you all, I see you all as brand ambassadors, and I want us all to work together. It's not me against you. It's not me saying no to what you bring to me. Sometimes it is no, but I want to inspire everyone else, and I want you to join me on this mission. Let's inspire everyone else on how to do this properly. Can I go to the next slide, please? So that's why I want to start with why. I've seen so many names here on the chat that have interacted with me before. Sometimes I see your post on Facebook or you send me emails. And when you do that, it's about approving a design, asking if something can or cannot be done, or maybe that's what you want me to do today, go over the do's and don'ts. I'll get to that point a little bit. But the most important thing is for us to talk about the importance of our brand. Of course, we have the logos and the fonts and the colors, and they're a vital part of it. But there's so much more than just those elements. Our brand is how we interact in every single touch point that Toastmasters gets to. So when we talk about how do you run your club meeting? How do you welcome guests? How do we structure our convention and districts structure their conferences? How do you produce the materials for all of those things? How do you interact when you're in social media, either representing Toastmasters or representing just yourself in a Toastmasters forum? How do you create your website? What kind of content, what kind of tone of voice do you have there? Even when your speeches are made, when you're giving a speech, when you're being the Toastmaster of the day, all of those things are the brand being alive. And that's why it's important that they're consistent. It's not just about the flyer that you do. It's not just about your website. It's about every little thing. Every time I answer an email, I pick up the phone at headquarters, that's the brand becoming alive. And that's why it's so important. When we explain Toastmasters to our friends and family, how do we talk about it? When we disagree with officers, and that's always a problem, when we disagree with the district leader, how do we do that? Do we do that with integrity, with respect, with service, with excellence? And that's why it's so important to understand what we're talking about here. It's so much more than just the right font or the right logo. Everything we do and how we talk is our brand becoming alive. Can I see the next slide, please? Having that said, one of the most common questions I get is, okay, I get all that, it's very important, I understand tone of voice, yeah. Can I, if I don't use the logo though, can I do everything else that I want? because I'm now using the logo, so I don't need to follow the guidelines, right? Wrong. That I get this question at least once a week. I get this question in every webinar that I participate, because the idea is, if I'm using the logo, I need to follow all of the logo guidelines that come with it. If I'm not, then it's okay to use different colors and fonts because I'm not using the logo. Correct? No, people. As I just said, the brand is everything that we do. And we are so diverse. Just look at these pictures. From Rio de Janeiro to the United States, to Singapore, to Spain, we're completely different. Clubs meet in completely different scenarios and environments, from corporate clubs to community clubs meeting in a public library. My club, the two clubs I belong to, one is a corporate one, and one actually, before the pandemic, used to meet in the basement of a pub. So how do you understand this as Toastmasters? If everyone decides to do something different, you need to be able to walk into a place. The places look all different. People look different. The energy, the vibe, the ages, the demographics, they're all different because there are Toastmasters from all walks of life. When you walk in there, how do you know this is a real Toastmasters meeting? Because you see the banner, because you see the logo. And you may be greeted in Spanish or in Portuguese or English or Mandarin, but you see that one thing that unites us all. Our brand helps us all speak the same language with the same purpose. That's why it's so important that our mission is carried out in everything that we do. See the next slide, please. Oh, yes, okay, so we talk all about this, and it's very important to be consistent. And yes, here's the new brand manual, which I don't think at all it's complicated. I just want to say, I think it's very simple and easy to use. It's been reduced from 72 pages from the previous one to 30 something. So I think it's way easier to use than the other one. Of course, when we talk about brand compliances, there are things that we can and cannot do. So the basics of creating materials is that if you're creating mostly paper products, with the exception of certificates, this is really important. If you're creating online materials and paper products that are not certificates, as long as you follow the brand manual, you'll be fine. So the brand manual has the colors that you can use, the right fonts, the type of photography, how to use the logo, with your club name, with your district number, because it's another question that we get a lot. Clubs, districts, areas, regions, divisions cannot create their own logos. This is not only in the brand manual, but also in our policy. Because imagine that if we had 16,000 different logos, instead of being one really strong organization, would be 16,000 different ones. And it's really important to think about it. It's the transfer of attributes between clubs and districts and areas and divisions and headquarters that allows us to be so powerful. Because when people come to us at headquarters, because of you, we can say, I don't know the exact new numbers right now because we're just going through renewals and charters and everything, but we can say we have over 16,000 clubs around the world. We have over 360,000 members because of the work that you do. And when people come to you, you can say, we belong to a 95-year-old organization. We have an education system, regardless of your opinion about pathways and Basecamp. We do have a bold education system translated into, available in 11 languages. We have a website. We have clubs all around the world. So we can tell that to members, and they're more accessible than ever. Before we could say, when you travel, you get to see a club wherever you go. And now you can just, as Kristi said, you can go to a club in Spain or France or Australia or Singapore with a click of a button. We offer this to you because we are one big, strong organization. If we fail to convey that because we are doing our own club, our own logo, our own thing, and our own colors. We detach ourselves from it, and it makes it very hard for people to understand that we're all one. Of course, clubs are all different and unique in their personality and how they have theme meetings and how they celebrate their achievements. And that's amazing. I like to make that comparison, even though I don't really care for McDonald's. It's an interesting thing to think about. You see McDonald's all around the world. It's the exact same logo. You take one look at those yellow arches and you know what that's about. And they're the same. They're not going to add a little cowboy hat on McDonald's in Texas. They're not going to add some sushi on top of the logo in Japan. But they do customize the menu to fit the local needs, to fit the local produce that they find. So there are things that you will find at McDonald's in Brazil that you're not going to find in Japan and vice versa. But you can get a Big Mac in both of them, and they'll taste pretty much the same. So that's the level of flexibility that you have. You have to use the same logo. You have to have the same environment and offer the same things. And then you customize a little bit according to your personality. So when you talk about creating materials, again, paper products and online products, with exception of certificates, as long as you're following the brand manual, using all the colors and fonts and types of image, you'll be absolutely fine. For anything such as apparel, accessories, videos, if you're creating a full-on website, not just a post on social media, you will need to obtain proper approval through the trademark use request on our website. This is really important, before you produce them, before you buy them. This goes even for trophies. We understand that sometimes the logistics get in the way of ordering things from headquarters. So we do work with you for trophies, for certificates. You just need to make sure you get the approval before you order them. And people roll their eyes and like, oh, a trademark use request, and you have to fill that in every time. Why is that? I want to explain why. It's not because we just want to make your life difficult. I promise it's not. Trademark issues are really important. They exist to protect, of course, names and logos used on products and services for every company that has it, of course. But that means that the Toastmasters name and logo are registered and protected to operate in certain environments. While this is true for every brand out there, this is especially delicate for nonprofits. Any material that could merely suggest a partnership that could potentially be understood as profitable threatens our nonprofit status. And that means a lot of really nice, amazing, engaging cases, such as we're having a fundraiser for a local hospital to help our very own Toastmasters, who's one of our members is there getting treatment. Can we help out? Of course you can help out. But adding our logo to a fundraiser is something that threatens our nonprofit status, because we're going to be raising money for a different organization. And we don't know how our logo is going to be featured in a walkathon, in an event like that. Oh, it's just like a market and there's lots of brands doing it and they're all nice. Absolutely understand that. When we don't have the control of how our logo is going to be placed, it can be placed along with controversial organizations, such as political polarizing ones, or types of companies we don't want to be associated with that can be questionable partnerships. So in those cases, we cannot allow it to happen. You're welcome to, as a person, go and be a part of it, but we cannot lend our logo to be a part of that. There are very few materials that are not allowed to be designed and produced locally. They are the acrylic name badges, ribbons, pins, and club banners. And this is not only to, and a lot of people think, it's not just to make sure like, go and buy from our store. It's not this. Not only is it a matter of brand compliance to make sure that they're exactly the same, produced to the same standards, but also about recognition consistency. When you use an official way of recognition, such as the ribbons that we created, for your own personal awards or award that you created for your own district, that can cause a lot of confusion when a different district is visiting and sees a ribbon on your banner. It's like, I never got that. How come I didn't get it? How is that available? How can I win one of those? And for those very few materials, we need to ensure that they only come from headquarters for the recognition and the awards that have been officially approved. Next slide, please. And here are some resources that I'd like to share with you. So yes, the brand manual, it's a brand new one since June. We've heard your questions, and I've been answering questions from members for a long time, and I wanted most of them to be answered by the brand manual rather than to be in separate documents elsewhere. So it's more user-friendly. It contains all the information that you may need about creating a website, creating videos, and we do have lots of different processes. Now that videos, as Kristi said, are the main thing, do you need approval for every single one? We can work with you. And the minute we understand this is the type of video we're going to make, and we're going to make 20 of it, we can issue an approval for all 20 of them. You don't need to go every single time unless it's going to be very different. But because it's important to have the disclaimer on the video, to display your logo properly, it's important that at least for the first ones, we get along with you guys and explain what needs to be done. There's a lot of other information there. There's FAQs on the brand manual, so please read them. A lot of the questions I have already been answered on the FAQs on the brand manual. The brand portal has all the elements for you to download. I see the red there. I'm almost done. There's the logos, and we added a bunch of logos there too, like all the pathway badges, gavel clubs. I know Shawshank is right there. And I know that we added those so you don't have to be asking us for it. And we're going to be updating it constantly, bringing more information to it. All of our templates are there, our stationery, so make sure you take a look. I think it's important. No one likes to know policy. Policy is boring, but it's important to know policy 4.0 and protocol 4.0 and intellectual property, because this goes beyond opinion, the brand manual. This is our regulations, and a violation of those can be a serious thing. So it's important to know what we can and cannot do. Last but not least, me, your brand specialist, I am here to serve you. It's the only reason I exist here at headquarters. So don't hesitate to contact me if you have questions, if you're not sure, if you've seen something from a different district or different club that you're not really sure if it's compliant or not. It's not about being a telltale or tallying on people. It's like, come on and share. And we have really great ways of reaching out to people and say, hey, this has been brought to our attention. This font is not correct, or we cannot use this type of picture. So make sure that you use me. I'm here. I'm happy to help. Send me an email. I've been getting a whole lot of emails, much more than when I first started. So it may take a little while. Do poke me if I take too long, if it's urgent. Sometimes emails go on a crazy filter of quarantine or junk mail. I have no idea why. I tend to look at those in a frequent manner, but if I missed yours, please send it again. And again, I would like to thank you all for having us here. It's a pleasure to talk to you, and it would be great to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you so much for that, Kristi and Ilana. We do have a few questions, so I will read them on behalf of the people who've asked the question. Can we post ads as part of the district? Is it permitted? This is by Supragna, our webmaster.
Yes, you can post ads. There are already lots of districts who have done ads. We at World Headquarters, we did a digital ad campaign test for 17 different districts. We used the district's funds for that. It wasn't paid from World Headquarters. They paid. But yes, absolutely you can. As I discussed earlier, come together as a leadership team, decide what budget you have for those daily ads. It could be $10 a day. It could be $100 a day, depending on what you guys have. Just make sure you have somebody monitor those ads. One, for funds, you don't want to go over your budget. Two, to look at the results to see if they're performing up to your standards. I'm always available to help offline too. You can email me, socialmedia@toastmasters.org, to kind of discuss that. World Headquarters is also currently in the middle of working on some district tips for ads as well. So stay tuned for that, hopefully coming your way in either the November or December leader letter.
Thank you so much. We have a second question. We've often heard that we can't use black as the background for many posters or on Instagram. So is black backgrounds allowed?
Yes, it is. I know it can be confusing, and everything that has been confusing on the brand manual, we are taking notice to make sure that on the next revision, which will be soon, not 10 years from now, we added to reduce that confusion. We don't want anyone confused. White and black are colors that we can, yes, use for everything, and it's absolutely fine. Just make sure that it is recognizable Toastmasters. So you have the other colors, you have the logo, following the guidelines, but a lot of times we do need a white background, we do need a black. So it's absolutely fine.
All right, thank you. We have another question. The brand manual talks about using corporate and Toastmasters logos on two separate corners. Is this applicable for college clubs too? That is, can the Toastmasters logo and the college logo be used on the poster?
Yes, we understand the university clubs almost in the same way as the corporate clubs, and that is a good question that I also took notice to add to the brand manual, because it is a reality for a lot of clubs. In this case, it works the same way as a corporate club. So make sure that when you add the logos, they follow the same guidelines, as in like they're not side by side. They're either on either side of the material, or one on top and one on the bottom, different corners. So they're not side by side.
All right. For gavel clubs, what are the restrictions with Toastmasters resources for branding?
Which clubs, I'm sorry?
For gavel clubs.
Gavel clubs should follow the same guidelines as any other club, except they have a different logo. So as far as branding goes, follow the same style of colors and the fonts and everything. The pictures would have to be a little adjusted, we understand, because of the different audience of gavel clubs, which is a good point. However, everything else should be followed the same way.
Okay. This is by our district PR manager, Neil Anthony Gonzalez. Can we get the free font for our district 121?
I just answered that directly, but it used to be part of the old manual. And when I joined, I was looking at that and I'm like, this is crazy. 10 years ago, we sent a font to a district. We lose track of who has it. Because this is copyright protected, we can't just give it to everyone. And I questioned that system. I said, this system is not effective and it's not working at all. So we removed it. The new brand manual does not have this written in it. We have two fonts, two official fonts that I understand are not free. Some people may have it because they have softwares or they're designers or something. They came on their computers. Most people don't. So we have free, royalty-free, downloadable options for those, and you can get the link straight from the brand manual. Just click on it and it downloads straight. Those are the two free alternatives, and you can use Arial as well. So we don't have fonts to send to districts anymore because that was a very weird decision in the first place. So we don't do that system anymore.
All right. We also have a second question. We understand that we can have our own logos for the district conferences. Can we have our own color templates as well?
Yes, district conference is the happiest time of all, that we can just do whatever we want, almost. There is a page on district conference on the brand manual, and I'm sorry I'm plugging the brand manual all the time. It's because it has all this information, so it's good to understand the little details on how to do it. District conferences, yes. You can create your own logo, fine. You can use different colors. You can go crazy on the clip art and the illustration, everything that you're frustrated the rest of the year, get it all out for your district conference. There are a few rules on how to use our logo. So the Toastmasters logo, if you choose to use it on your district, on your conference flyers, promotions, materials, make sure that it's always standing alone. So you can't have, for instance, we've seen some of those, like, there's someone in a picture with a hat and the logo is on the hat. it has to be standing alone and respecting that all clear space around it. So you can't make it a part of something, make it a part of a word. So it's like conference and the O is the Toastmasters logo. Can't do that. Or 10 years and the 0 is the logo. That cannot be done at all. Other than that, make sure that your sponsors are clearly marked. So it's not a bunch of logos everywhere. We're just saying these are our sponsors. They have like special place to be in a program and a flyer, and they're not next to the Toastmasters logo. Other than that, go crazy, go happy, and create your own district conference materials. If you have any questions, as in, is this okay? Can I do this? I want to use the logo this way. Send it my way. I'll be happy to give you some pointers. But other than that, just be happy.
All right. Thank you. We have one more question. What are the guidelines related to the Pathways logo and path badges? Are they different from the TI logo usage?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Crazy phone ring. We do have that in the brand manual as well, how to use the Pathways logo, and there's like pretty much an all clear space that nothing should be too close to it, and for everything else to just follow the same brand guidelines.
Question, which is, we hear that the happy yellow is the color of accents. So are accent colors and background colors interchangeable? Can we use yellow as the background?
I've seen it in some of materials that I understand how our colors can be a little heavy sometimes because they're dark and we want to produce something happy. So I've seen materials that don't use the blue and the maroon, but they use the yellow. As long as it's recognizable and it's not like a full-on yellow material with yellow all over it. I've seen it used. It was a white, black, with a little triangle on the background, yellow. So it was an accent color. It wasn't like full-on yellow. You can do that. When you're having the other colors, yellow should not be the most predominant one. It is an accent color. So if we only see yellow materials, it fails to convey that it's Toastmasters. So as an exception, absolutely, an accent here and there, even if it's in the background, as long as it's not the most predominant color, you'll be fine.
All right. Just one clarification. Now, you said that we can have our own district logo, district conference logos, right? Now, can we use the TI logo for the certificates on these if it has other colors on it, for district conferences specifically?
Oh, that is a very interesting question. I don't think I've ever had that. I would have to ask trademarks about this and get back to you because I am not sure. The minute it looks completely different, maybe if it, I'll have to ask them and get back to you. But that's a really great question. And thank you for, I appreciate everyone that has the concern of doing this well and doing it right. I know it's not the funnest thing to do. So I really appreciate you all taking the time and wanting to be compliant. So I will investigate about that and I'll get back to you.
Okay. Just one last question, which is, can we use non-copyright music from anywhere outside in our video?
Got a question about that last week, and I was about to say no, but then I checked out the video that they sent. So it's a guy that created a song that went viral, and everyone around the world started doing this little dance to it. And he was the guy who owns the song, said, I want everyone to do it. So please go ahead and do it and send me your versions. In that case, it would be okay. You can use music that is you either have written permission for, because you know the owner, it's your friend, or it's something like this that goes viral and people say, just go ahead and use it. Or songs that are not copyrighted, which is what you said. Songs that are famous, even though it's like, but it's a really nice thing we're just using to promote our club or a nonprofit, it can get us into a whole lot of trouble. We think that we're too small for these companies. We're not. I've seen cases when I was studying. Oh, that's another really important thing about district conferences. You can use whatever you want as long as you're allowed to use it. You can't just put Star Wars stuff because this is the theme for your conference. and this is copyrighted. And you think, but it's just a little district over there in China. Who cares? They do care. Disney, who owns Star Wars now, is on top of it. They will go down and send a cease and desist letter to a little daycare in Indiana if they do a Star Wars day. They're on top of everything, and because everything is online and findable, they will find it, and it can be a world of trouble, especially after you did all the materials, you have the t-shirts, and you have the venue, and they go like, cease and desist, else we're coming for you. Make sure that every material that you're using, every picture, just because you can get it easily on Google does not mean it's royalty free and it's not copyrighted. It's very easy to get all the logos, all the fonts, everything. Make sure that you have the right to do it, else it can be a world of trouble for you and for us as well.
Thank you. As I said, last question, we had a lot of other questions poured in. So since we have a little more time, is that okay if we go through more questions, Kristi and Ilana? All right. Some clubs are using TickTock to create short clips or teasers to promote their club meetings. They don't really need to submit it for the trademark request, right? Those are just less than 2 minutes and without a disclaimer. Is it a problem?
I don't see it as a problem because you can do the same thing on Instagram and Facebook. It goes back to what Ilana and I have already said to you multiple times. So as long as you are following Toastmasters policies in the brand manual, then it's fine. If you are using trademarked music, though, as Ilana just mentioned, that's when it's the problem. So if you're just at your own club doing your own little 2-minute table topic type video, something along those lines, that is completely fine. We're glad you're using TickTok for fun promotions like that. So go for it. And again, I know Ilana's already said this, I've said it, just follow our policies and our brand, and you won't hear from anybody outside of the organization or the organization. But we love it. Have fun with it. The more you can do, the better.
I'd like just to add, Kristi is absolutely right. What I'd like to add is everything that you're doing that is just like a live thing. So you get your phone like, hi, we're right here. This is our meeting. Hello, say hi, everyone. Or if you want to post your Zoom meeting, because like, please check it out. This was our meeting last night, and that's just your Zoom meeting. Or it's a fun TikTok because everyone is doing something, like you're dancing and you want to post. That is all absolutely okay. Everything that's live and just portraying club meeting or an event, or this is absolutely fine. The minute you create a promotional video, as in like have a background, and I'm going to talk to you about leadership and communication, and there's a Toastmaster logo, we just need to make sure that this is very clear to everyone that this was produced by District 121 and not headquarters and not over there. That's why you need a disclaimer to protect you as well, and to say, then you're going to have the logo, you're going to have your district name on it, and you have a disclaimer. You're going to say who created it, so people know, oh, this was a district. This was created by a club. And of course, if you're posting a 10-second video on Instagram, to have to add to a little square, a little disclaimer that no one's even going to read it, it's going to be super complicated. But if it's going to live on an environment that's already branded, so it's District 121 Instagram. Everything that's there, pretty much we understand as being created by you, unless you specify, oh, we're reposting from headquarters or something like that. We can add the disclaimer, for instance, in the About page on Facebook. So everything that's here, it's not created by headquarters unless stated otherwise, and we can work with you. So mostly if it's anything live or simply portraying a meeting, an event like that, you'd be fine with just posting it.
Thank you. We have one more, which is, can gavel clubs use the word mark where leaders are made?
I don't see why not. It's the first time I get this question, but I believe that everything that's available for the Toastmasters brand is available for the gavel clubs as well. They're with the difference of the logo, and I understand there are some policy differences specified on our governing documents, but yes, it's where okay. Smaller leaders are being made. They're younger leaders, yes. Not smaller, younger, I'm sorry.
Can we add texts on videos that are microcut? For example, how to write a speech or 5 seconds to join, just like we see in the Gary Vee motivational videos.
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. If you can add what?
Text on a video. So in my opinion, yes, I think that's fine. If you have video editor and you can edit text, here we are at club. I'm just saying Toastmasters. Again, as long as it's not breaking any trademark, brand rules, or Toastmasters policies, it should not be a problem.
Yeah, use the right font and the right colors, and it should be fine. You can add that. You can create whatever type of video you want. It can be how to create a speech, and then you're gonna do all the steps according to your own club, or how we do it here, how we do our, yeah, that's absolutely fine as long as you follow the video guidelines and you use all the right elements. I just saw a question sent directly to me. Can I answer that? Is that okay?
Sure, go ahead.
Can clubs have their own taglines under the logo? No, they cannot, because that also creates a lot of confusion because clubs are completely different. So you may be a club that's all about friendship, and all of a sudden there's the TI logo and come make friends or something like that, and you'd be like, what is this organization? It's very confusing. Clubs, districts, regions, divisions, areas are not allowed to have a logo or a tagline. This is, as I know that's where our friends are made. I totally believe in that. However, we can't say that as a tagline. What districts and all of those different instances clubs are allowed to have is your own way of talking. And a lot of districts, I know when officers join, they're like, we have to create a motto for this year and a theme, and we're going to energize everyone around it. Absolutely, we understand how that works. Just don't let it work as a tagline. You can't just have District 121, where friends are made, or this year it's all about leadership, or anything like that. You can use that on presentations. It can be the title of your PowerPoint, and you can use it in the middle of copy, in text. So for 2020, District 121 is going to focus on leadership. It's going to be lead, lead, lead. This is our motto for the year. That's what we're doing. What you cannot have is the logo and lead, 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 or leadership is what we're doing, or anything like that that looks like, or in an email signature, just that sentence. When it's part of the copy, by all means, energize your members and your officers and your leaders in whatever way you can, because that's powerful. Just don't use it as a tagline.
Ilana, here's a question I received, if we have time, is can districts create their own district anthem?
I got that too.
Okay.
Well, that's amazing. I don't think I've ever seen a district anthem before. And if you have it, please do share, because I want to see that. I believe so. I am not sure about that. I think so, but I will check on that too. I believe that if you're using music that you have the right to, and then you wrote the lyrics yourselves, you should be able to have it. I don't see why not, but I will talk to trademarks about it. Yeah, that's interesting.
Do club, area, division, or district newsletters need to follow all brand colors and fonts?
I know it's a bummer. I know we want to do all the different things, but we do need to follow that. Any materials that are officially promoting Toastmasters, even if it's just for members, we do need to follow those. And I think there is a little room when we're talking about speeches. So for instance, Kristi gave a really cool speech about the dogs of her life. And if she wants to have visual aids for that speech and put lots of pictures of puppies and cute little eyes, and that has nothing to do with the approved type of photography for her speech, she's completely allowed to do that because it's her own speech. I'd like to tell this story, which is true. My husband joined Toastmasters with me, and he decided to be the Toastmaster of the day. And in our club, it's a big deal because a Toastmaster actually talks a lot and brings a lot of content. And all clubs are different when it comes to this, right? But my club, because the meeting is 1.5 hours, the Toastmaster of the day actually has lots of time to interact. And he wanted to talk about dinosaurs. And he came dressed up as a dinosaur, a T-Rex. For half of the meeting, you couldn't even see his face. It's a T-Rex with signs and cards running the meeting along. It was really funny. So like this is not at all approved photography style or type of things, but for your speech, for whatever you're doing, for your table topics, for the Toastmaster of the day, you're allowed to speak about whatever you want and use the visual aids that will go with that. So if the newsletter would like to highlight that and put a picture of him as a dinosaur, or put a picture of Kristi's dogs to say this was the speech that inspired everyone and made everyone emotional, that's okay. But other than that, you do need to follow, use the right colors and fonts and all the elements.
Thank you. Can the tagline "where leaders are made" be used on its own?
Yeah. All the elements are available to use on video, on all the materials that you want, as long as you follow the guidelines and how you insert it and use it. Absolutely fine. We like when you use all the things that we created for you.
All right, that comes to the end of my list. So if anyone else has any questions, please do. Okay, we just got one more. Can we use a country's flag in our poster?
Yes, we can. I think this was a little bit of a taboo before. I've had that discussion with trademarks and legal. As long as it doesn't look like it's an official country organization type, if you space it far enough from the logo, so it's not a flag and a logo right here on top of each other, it's absolutely fine to honor where your club, your district, your area is from. It's absolutely fine. As in, like, add a little flag. It shouldn't be in the background, all the colors and onto people's faces, but yes, you can add a little flag there.
Many flyers still use the old logos and word marks, which was a part of the brand manual prior to June refresh. Is it still allowed?
There are a lot of materials. If you look at our website, we still have those. So we are going little by little, removing everything, adjusting everything. As you notice, the rays, the gradient, the rays are not there anymore because they were very confusing to use. We saw people using it in the wrong way because not everyone's a designer, not everyone has to be. So you have a VPPR who has all the best intentions, but is not a great person with design. And then they just throw the rays in there and they look horrible and it's not how it's supposed to. So we decided to remove those. We still have elements on our website with those. We understand it takes a while. You shouldn't have to spend all of your time as an officer, as a leader, redoing materials that you've had from the year before that were working, that you're going to use on your club officer training, and they're perfect in content, but they have the bright red on it. You don't have to change that of now. But everything that you create from now on should follow the current brand manual.
All right. If you have any other questions, please take this time. You can write to me directly and we can have your questions answered. All right. I think we've come to the end of our questions. Can we please all unmute and give a resounding round of applause for Ilana and Kristi for making the time to come here with us today. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you guys. We were so happy to be here for you guys.